Hey, hey.
Hey, that was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that. We have in the house tonight. That's right. Producer, writer, director, filmmaker. That's right. CEO. That's right. The legend himself, Jeff Gomez. How are you doing, my friend? Starlight Runner Entertainment, baby.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is awesome to be here. This is the coolest. I love your room. Can we swap?
I don't know. It looks like you got some cool stuff back there. I like it. I like it.
A few.
Let me blow it up for the audience there.
The big old Ultra 7, big collectible there. That's an
awesome.
Aurora Godzilla, an original.
Awesome. You made everybody in chat very happy right now. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, speaking of chat, let's see who is here from the Movie Dojo Army chiming in. We got Jake Hall in the house. What's going on? He's saying, hello, Phat Samurai Guy and Jeff Gomez. There you go. He's saying hello there. That's right.
Hey, Jake.
We got Severio here. He says, Phat Samurai Guy, you're going to tell Jeff Gomez about the Ultra Slap, LOL. And I'll get to the Ultra Slap later.
Nice. But nice.
Omegon 32 is here. That's right. And Omegon, I will make sure I will take care of that when I'm off the air, my friend. And Raider Nation is here as well. So they're slowly trickling in. Oh, man. All right. So, yeah, it was great having a chance to. It's always fun talking to Mr. Jan Lucanis. That's right. Justice for Hire. And I had him on the channel a couple of times talking about his really fantastic app. And he was highlighting that. And then I found out through his website and Kickstarter and all that you were a part of it. And you had a lot of positive things to say about it.
Very, very small part. But yes, I love participative narrative, as we in the biz call it. I think his ideas are fascinating, and the force of will behind that effort is just tremendous. So much so that I think he's going to make it.
I do too. I had to have him on here to support it, and he's still trying to get me to become a character. And I'm like this close. Eventually, I think I'm going to do it eventually. So
you got it.
All right, all the way from Brazil. What's going on? Hello, we have people from Brazil. What's going on, brother? I hope you're doing well, my friend. All right, but yeah,
I love Brazil. I have strong friends and great times there.
Oh, nice. When were you out there?
I was called out shortly after the release of Avatar to do a talk on the film.
All right.
And ever since then, I go back and I teach and consult on with corporations and things like that there. Yeah.
Copy that. Awesome. So, man, I was looking up all over for all over the website. Starlight Runner Entertainment, and I'm like, man, you guys were everywhere doing everything and in every medium, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is insane. So we have to talk about it, but let's go back a little bit to the beginning here. And of course, I have the man, the myth, the legend here. So by all means, tell your story. That's why I got you here on the podcast today. But let's go back a little bit, and so you're a big comic book fan. I can see.
Sure.
Comics, right?
Absolutely. Comics actually came a tiny bit later. Japanese pop culture was first. It is my earliest memory in life. Right. Tokusatsu and anime.
Oh, that is amazing. That's all. I'm jealous. Because it was the opposite. It was rough out here, man. Like, especially you could barely find any anime on VHS growing up, like it was rough.
Sure.
Now it's you can get anime anywhere. But
I was exposed to it because in the late 1960s and early 70s, the networks were looking for inexpensive content to
Okay.
air during the day, and Japanese anime, the earliest stuff. This is Speed Racer, Marine Boy, Gigantor, Kimba
Nice.
the White Lion, Astro Boy. Those were those were imported, roughly translated and thrown on afternoon television.
Gigantor.
Oh, you know it. You know
That's
it.
right. That's right.
So that content, here's why it rang with me. I'd watch pretty much anything on TV. There wasn't much choice, but the stuff that came in from Japan took itself seriously, and I was a serious little kid.
Nice.
It treated me like a person. The stories being told were not watered down or made silly,
Mm-hmm.
or
Safe.
it was safe.
It took
Yeah.
risks. Yeah.
It was, and there was a continuity to it. The characters would remember what happened, in previous episodes. That never happened on any kind of network television, believe it or not. A cop show, the cops would never remember previous cases or anything like that.
Yeah.
There was no seriality to television content, and even in feature film content, almost nothing. But that proto anime, it something was going on. Racer X, was Speed Racer's brother, and little by little you learn more and more about him as the series progressed. That was awesome to me.
Was that mind blowing when the secret was revealed about Racer X? Were you like, what?
Absolutely. Totally. And then the tokusatsu, the characters would visit each other's movies. That was
Yes.
awesome. It implied that there was a greater universe tying those films together. The continuity was never 100% there.
Right.
In between, but it didn't matter. It was just, it was a Godzilla movie, and you got to see, his pal Rodan. He showed up a couple of times. That was great.
Yeah. And what's popular now, right? What's the big thing now is
Shared
crossovers.
Mhm.
Everything crossover is huge, right? Like look at the last Spider-Man movie, which I really enjoyed. But that's we've got Doctor Strange 2 coming out. So we got, iconic characters visiting each other's properties. That's what look at the Flash movie coming out. So that's what's really popular right now. But it's interesting you brought that up, because that's a great point, because we can go way back to the 60s in the Ultraman series. Hey, they were doing crossovers then.
All the time. So this is the fundamental distinction in philosophies between Japan and Hollywood, was that in post-World War II Japan, there was a kind of edict made. The word for it was kiretsu, where companies could easily form alliances with one another, and artists and directors and writers and studios often were allowed. There was no legal blockage to cooperation. And so that would allow the intellectual property from one TV series to jump into another TV series,
Okay.
for different characters to visit each other, and for even different companies. Ultraman met Kamen Rider. That was awesome. Those two different companies.
Wow.
They shouldn't have, allowed such a thing, and that came together. Whereas Hollywood, everything is buttoned down legally. If you're going to do anything to change that, you've got to pay me a boatload of money. I need top billing. You can't have top billing. All that stuff prevented the crossover mentality. Kevin Feige at Marvel, Disney Marvel, he changed all that. He ripped up contracts. He altered a lot of rules and mores for Hollywood that is allowing this kind of content today.
Awesome. That's interesting that you're bringing that up. But I get asked a lot, and I'm like, stop asking me. I don't know. Maybe Jeff knows. But I get asked a lot, when are we ever gonna get a Gamera meets Godzilla movie? And I'm just like, I'm not the guy to ask. You think that would ever be possible?
Well, I think that now that the American voice is rising, because of the intrinsic relationship between anime and America, and the growth now of tokusatsu, the presence of Ultraman and things like that. Godzilla has come back into vogue. That Japan is listening
Okay,
a
good.
little bit more, and they're going,
Okay,
because a Gamera's studio and Godzilla studio, they're two different ones, and they're fierce rivals.
right.
So it's tricky to get them to cross over. I think that the Toho people feel that Godzilla is a global brand, a global franchise, and that Gamera is not. So
Right.
it's a tough deal to make,
Right.
but I think there's going to be a little more pressure.
Okay.
And
So
you'll see.
it's a possibility in the future.
That's correct.
Okay. Hey, we'll take it. I'm sure us fans would even take a cameo. Well, we'll just do that. We'll have some fun with that. But yeah, but back to comics, back to comic
Sure,
books
sure.
here. So you started out at Valorant, which turned into Acclaim, correct?
Valiant Comics, yes.
Excuse me, Valiant. Thank you. Sorry about
Yes.
that.
At the time, it was the number 3 company behind Marvel and DC.
Nice, nice. How
When
long were you there?
I got there just after a Jim Shooter left the company, so there was a kind of golden age of Valiant Comics the first few years, and then he left, and I came in 92, 93, thereabouts, and stayed there till like around 96, 97, when Acclaim basically absorbed all of Valiant, and Valiant moved out to Long Island to be at the video game company.
Copy that. Copy that.
Mhm.
And speaking of video games, I mean, this was one of my favorite video games ever when I had my Nintendo 64, man.
Oh,
Turok! Turok, baby. Man, I was playing this for hours. That's so awesome your group and team were involved with this.
It's really, that was a big breakthrough for me to be able to. I was one of the only people at the company that understood game development, and volunteered to do that concept document for the game, and the Acclaim people liked it. I got familiar with the Nintendo 64 platform, and built out the universe and created more lore. We built a website for it. That was the first ever website for a video game.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was cool. Yeah,
Was that the beginnings of the whole transmedia idea?
that's it exactly. Yes.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yes, yes. So that was awesome to be able to build a bridge between a comic book company and a video game company, and to develop a whole mess of video games. It wasn't just Turok; it was Shadow Man. I
Oh,
did
wow.
something to do with, and Armorines, and
Oh, that was fun. Yeah.
yeah,
That was like
yeah,
a Starship Troopers type game. Yeah,
exactly.
I
Wow.
enjoyed
Oh,
that.
you knew it. There you
Hey,
go.
I knew. Yeah. But
And
yeah, I enjoyed all the Turok
uh,
games. They just recently got remastered, I believe. They're like
they
on
did,
PS4 and
and they
stuff.
look good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. I look at the first one and I still get a little seasick, because I wasn't used to game development. Sitting in front of a screen for hours and hours and hours,
Yeah.
trying to make sure everything was going well, and I would get like a little nauseous. It's like kind of float, but it was great. It was great. The only thing I was upset about was GoldenEye, which constantly outbeat us. It was just more
Well,
popular than Turok.
it's all good. Hey, Turok was still a huge success,
Oh, thank you.
and Turok 2 Seeds of Evil and all that stuff. And you had to get that expansion pack, put that in Nintendo 64 to help
Rumble
you.
Pack.
Yeah.
Yes,
But to improve on the graphics too.
yes, that's right.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. But yeah, Turok's great. And you know what's funny? All these other Turok games that have come out years later, people
Mhm.
still compare them to the original, and they're like, the originals are still better.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
great
yeah.
to hear.
But yeah, you got some other video game franchises that your team was involved in. You got Splinter Cell here.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, the Men in Black video game
Yeah,
here.
that's not our proudest moment, but
Uh-oh. Any stories about that, or you want to just skip it?
well, back then, a video game based on a movie would enter into development after the movie would go into production. So you really only had a few months to build out a decent video game, and that was almost impossible. So the games, you'll remember a lot of movie adaptations, video game adaptations of movies, kind of sucked.
It's true.
So
Yeah, it
we
was a
did the
rare
best we
thing.
could. We actually, in that game there is a lore about the Men in Black universe that had never been revealed before. So we were happy about that, and actually bits and pieces of that lore found their way into the more recent Men in Black movies because they were canonical.
Really,
Yeah.
really. So look, hey, some good came out of it, right?
Yes.
Were you involved with the third movie? Your team?
Men in Black 3, absolutely. We worked extensively with Men in
That
Black.
was entertaining, man. I mean, everyone I talk to agrees that that's the best sequel
Oh, thank you.
out of the whole franchise. Like, there's no question.
Here's an example of what Starlight Runner does when we work on these things. First of all, they come to us and they say, well, there's no resource for our screenwriters and for our production people to understand this universe and to license and merchandise it based on a single resource for lore and what it's all about. So we put that together. So there's a kind of Men in Black mythology, which gets into what the organization is, how it was founded, what the rules and regulations are, all this stuff, how there are outposts all over the world. And then we look at the script and we go, there's a problem with your time travel. It doesn't make any sense. And on paper, nobody thinks about that much. They figure out it'll get figured out when we go into production, but that can be very expensive. You can, if something's not making sense, you sometimes have to stop the movie, or you can
Right.
forget about it, and then the audience, goes, well, what's that?
They're lost. Yeah.
So we, Starlight Runner fixed the time travel issue in Men in Black, and
Nice.
helped to come up with that character who actually kind of explains time travel and stuff like that. He's in the movie, and so that was fun. That was
all right.
a direct impact that we made on the script.
Oh, well, that sounds like a huge impact because you got to, like you said, you got to be careful with these time travel type movies. Could really screw everything up if you get something wrong, and then you just really lost.
See, that is the proper application of nerd cred.
Nerd cred. Oh my goodness, I'm having a blast here. So yeah, I mean, started off with comics and non-video games, and then you've done some series as well. Help get some series going. You got the Hot Wheels here, World Race.
Awesome. That was awesome. That's
How long did this show
weird.
run?
It's weird because that's so long ago, and if you look at it, it's a little bit crude, the animation, but I'm so proud of Hot Wheels World Race. The franchise, the Hot Wheels animation franchise, which we created, ran for 3 series.
Mm-hmm.
That's World Race, Acceleracers, and Battle Force 5. But it also had a series of video games and a series of comic books, 36 comic books.
Wow.
It was a true transmedia implementation, and all kinds of merch and action figures and things like that. It was really super cool. And so all those TV shows ran 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 or 7 years.
Oh wow, that's a long time. Wow, check that out. If you see me disappear like that, it's fine.
Oh, okay. um, yeah, so we developed that world, that universe entirely in house at Starlight Runner.
Now here's
So
a big one right here.
we can lay claim.
Turtles, man, turtles.
Turtle power.
Oh, see, nerd cred, baby. Yeah, that's right. Raphael, he's the leader of the group. They screwed up. They screwed up the lyrics in that song, but the song is so good. I don't care.
I was and always will be a Donatello guy. What
Hey,
can I
Donatello's the man. He's great. He's great. And the 1990 movie is still my favorite live action movie, by the way. So.
Same here. Same here.
Oh, see, nerd cred. Your points are
Yes.
building.
So that was that was Nickelodeon purchasing the rights to the Ninja Turtles from 4Kids. I think they were with. The franchise had ran out of gas. The most recent one at that time was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Space or something
Oh
like
my god.
that. So they really wanted to kind of reboot everything, and they were a little kind of scared because the audience at Nickelodeon is different from your standard audience. There's a very specific element to the brand. How is Ninja Turtles at all like Nickelodeon and stuff like that? So we had to figure all that out and help to preserve the essence of the Ninja Turtle brand into that new kind of CG version of the Turtles. And I think it was pretty good. Those first few seasons were not bad of the Nickelodeon version. Where I think it ran into trouble was that the Michael Bay Ninja Turtle live action features, and we told Nick and Paramount. In fact, I was so passionate, I went to Viacom in Times Square and said, "Guys, don't create a completely different version of these characters. You will bifurcate your audience."
Right.
Now I'm in Target and I'm seeing two completely different lines of toys, and this is for kids. So which am I going to buy? You're causing me to choose, and that's going to leave money on the table. And they didn't listen.
It's a good. Yeah, they didn't listen. Listen to Jeff. There you go. Words of wisdom. Listen to Jeff. But yeah, I heard nothing but good things about this show. The last show I remembered was the early 2000s one, which I remember that being solid. Of course, you know me, I grew up with the original, of course. But this show, me and my wife bought all the Blu-rays for it, and we're halfway through this.
Oh,
Transformers Prime.
Hey, that's known.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We haven't finished it yet. We're halfway through, but so far we're really enjoying it, man. We're really enjoying the voice acting, everything. We're having fun.
If you look at that series, that was directly drawn from the Transformers mythology that we created for Hasbro. That galvanized, that took all of the lore, which was a mess. It was self-contradictory and stuff like that, and we put it in some kind of streamlined order, and raised the drama. Made it make some kind of sense. The mythology of Cybertron, what's going on in the backstory and stuff like that, and they used that, and Transformers Prime is awesome. It's well done. Some of the more recent stuff that you're seeing on Netflix and stuff, Cybertron, and some of the more recent Activision video games are based on this, on the Starlight Runner Transformers mythology document.
Gotcha. You kind of kicked it off. You
The
brought
early
some order to the chaos there, the continuity chaos.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, you want it to make sense. You want to treat your audience seriously, and so you don't make it up as you go along.
Right.
Have an internal logic, an internal philosophy, an internal wisdom to what you're working on, and the world will pay off for years and years and years.
Yep. again, more words of wisdom here. But yeah, we definitely got to finish this. But I mean, come on, the original voice actor for Optimus and Peter Cullen, and we had Megatron and all that. I mean, that was great. That was good stuff. Love
It's
that.
awesome.
That was one
Yes.
of the big complaints actually for the Netflix Transformers show was they couldn't get I think the voice actor for some of the iconic characters, even though they wanted to be a part of it. But that's a different story for somebody else. But yeah, let's keep it rocking and rolling here. So you guys were involved with Dexter as well.
Oh, that was great. Will be done in 30. Sorry, I'm my partners are asking me questions on text.
Oh no, it's
So
all good.
here's a cool story about Dexter. The Not enough people were watching Dexter. So Showtime came to us and said, "What can we do? What's the deal? People think it's like a horror thing, and
Right. Okay.
we already were fans, so we said no. He's more like Batman. He's more like a weird kind of anti-hero than a serial
Vigilante in a way.
bloody
Yeah.
thing. So let us help you with marketing Dexter to the Comic-Con crowd,
Okay.
and let's help you with some transmedia." And you know what, the showrunners, this was when Dexter was super, kind of on the down low, but it was cool. It was really a great show. They didn't want me involved at all. They were like, "Go away." And I said, "But I need to talk to you. I don't want to do this in a vacuum. I want to create the mythology authentically to what you have in mind."
Right.
And they said, "No, no time to meet with Gomez." And I said, "Do you guys take lunch breaks?" and they said, "We're going to be on set. So look, if you want to come and talk to us while we eat, fine." So I actually had to give them the pitch while they were the producers of Dexter were having lunch on
Wow.
the set of Dexter. And I knew so much about the character and about his psychology and his backstory and stuff like that. They were like, "You know what? If you can produce a mythology document and we like it, then we'll put our seal of approval on it. If we don't like it, you're screwed."
Right.
And Showtime hired us to get the job done, and we did it, and they loved it.
That's
Served
awesome.
everybody. So yeah, Dexter was a very interesting return for Dexter, because that final season was not so good before. So it's much.
Right. Copy that. Copy that. Well, we're knocking it out of the park so far. I mean, I think we're gonna have to adopt you here. Your uncle Gomez, your Uncle Gomez now, because comics. That's right. You nailed comics. You nailed video games. And you nailed cool, awesome shows. And now what? Wrestling. Wrestling too. I mean, the nerd cred. I don't know if it can go any higher at this point.
This would be the highlight of my career. I don't think so, but it was fun. It was tremendous fun.
Yeah.
Wrestling, Mexican wrestling, masked wrestling,
Lucha.
never seemed to take hold in the United States, despite several efforts. And so we're the nerd dudes, those story world builders. So AAA Lucha Libre in Mexico reached out and said, "Can you help us? What needs to be done here?" And we said, "Well, it's not translating because some of the storytelling is a little bit old school,
Right.
and we're a little more progressive here in the States, and so we need to not throw little people around,
Right.
and other dreadful behaviors." And let's create a mythology that's drawn from the great Mexican cultural mythologies, and do a little Game of Thrones thing with this. and they loved that idea, and we got to help to build that world. It was awesome.
Did you help create a lot of the stories for the characters themselves? Like,
The base
did you
storylines, yes,
did you do the Vampiro one?
of course. So
Oh my god!
Phoenix was a personal friend. I just adored him as a human being, and so we brought him in. Conan got his storyline. It was great. He was very crazy. It was awesome. We had a really good time. Robert Rodriguez took control of the franchise and brought it to El Rey Television and so forth. So we gradually kind of faded back on that, but we consulted
him
on the
take over
storylines. Yeah, he was the big cheese there.
because already you have so many talented wrestlers already are there.
Oh,
and the storyline, I wasn't aware of Lucha Underground until my buddy discovered it, and he's all like, "Dude, you got to check this out." And I'm like, "Okay." And then when I got to the Vampiro storyline of him breaking out and just murdering everyone, escaping the asylum in a way, I was like, this is something very new and different I've never seen in terms of quality too, like production value. And I was like, wow, this is something very different. So we had fun watching definitely for a while.
Believe it or not, it was done very inexpensively. There were very creative people on set. It was tremendous talent involved in it.
Yeah, nice. I had the director of the Vampiro documentary, Michael Past. He was on the podcast a while back, and that was a great guy. Very great documentary. But yeah, I just had to talk a little bit about it. I was like, I hope he did the vamp scene where Vampiro broke out. I gotta talk to him about that.
I'm trying not to do
that. And of course, you got to mention the Pirates franchise.
Sure.
And how did you guys get involved with this?
Through Hot Wheels. Some Disney people saw the Hot Wheels mythology lying on the desk in Mattel and said, "What's this?" And they said, "Well, this holds together the entire franchise across all our divisions and across all media." And Disney came to me and said, "Can you do for Pirates what you did for Hot Wheels? Because we don't get it. We don't understand why it was a big hit. That original movie came out of nowhere,
That's crazy.
And it was like super dark for Disney at the time, and so forth. So they didn't know how to market it to kids. They didn't know what to do with the licensing and merchandising and stuff like that. So they hired us, and then we did like a check all over the planet because Disney's a planetary media company.
Right,
so they had Pirates content in development for all kinds of different countries and stuff like that. And a lot of it was terrible.
So
we fixed we discerned why Pirates was successful. We spoke at length with Johnny Depp to understand Jack Sparrow and so forth. And we taught Disney Pirates of the Caribbean. But we also taught them transmedia storytelling. We created the Pirates Clearinghouse, which was a multi-divisional group that coordinated the story across multiple platforms. All that sort of stuff. It was super, super cool. And Disney kept us on for many years.
Yeah, they're smart. I got to keep you on. That's cool, man. That is awesome to hear. And then you're also involved with Spider-Man and as well as Tron Legacy.
That's right. Well, Tron was one of those Disney, projects after Pirates. What's cool about Tron was that they were serious about the transmedia. So the animated series and the graphic novels and the
video
novels and the video game were all canonical. They took place in a single continuity, and it was flawless. It was really, really good. I'm sorry that the franchise didn't do better. They would have kept at it, but then they got Marvel. So they started drifting off.
Marvel came in swinging.
There you go.
But yeah,
Spider-Man with Sony was was interesting because that was the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. So
Right.
they knew intuitively that something wasn't quite there with the character, and we said, well, that's it, easy. He's not a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
There you go.
So we helped them to understand Spider-Man. And we had Fabian Nicieza, the co-creator of Deadpool and a fantastic comic book writer.
Oh, nice.
Was on my team. So together we convinced Sony to consider the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we actually helped a little bit with things like contracts and insights into how the licensing and merchandising, because it's a specialty of ours, how it could be made to work so that Sony could benefit even if Spider-Man was in a Disney Marvel movie.
That's mind-blowing. That's mind-blowing stuff that you guys pulled
That's what
off.
made the deal, dude. It wasn't make a good story and we'll put Spider-Man in it. It was business.
First steps, though. That's
Absolutely.
a huge first step. So kudos, huge kudos for sure. But yeah, I enjoy Tron Legacy. The special effects were still amazing, and the soundtrack. I still bump the soundtrack. I still have.
And we were on set, and Daft Punk was right there. It was awesome.
Yeah, my buddies still have the soundtrack. We still listen to it, and I remember the series. I remember the series getting a lot of good reviews and stuff. So that's awesome, man.
The animated series, very serious.
Yeah, I like that. See, Jeff, I like you. I like you already. Serious, dark. I love it. I love it. Do you still teach the younglings at conferences?
All the time. I was a school teacher out of college, and although my ambitions were to get into the media and entertainment business, I swore to myself that I would continue to teach, and I do that to this day. I have a class I'm teaching next week, master class,
All right.
3 hours. Yeah.
And what's some of the topics you go over for them?
Transmedia storytelling, developing story worlds. How do we tell stories that can last beyond a single iteration? What do we have to think about in terms of the design of the world that can make it last, for sequels and prequels and sidequels and other media platforms? And also, how do we take the fans into consideration? How do we dialogue with them? How do we make them feel as if they're a part of the story world? In this day and age, you just have to.
Yeah, that's a good point, definitely. Well, that's awesome that you're doing that, man. Spreading your knowledge and getting out there for the next generation, man. That's really cool. That's really, really awesome.
Every once in a while, I'll find a student who's just awesome, and I stay in touch with them, and I help to get them into college. And
oh wow, look at that!
Get them a job.
Hey, that's awesome. Amazing stuff. Amazing. See, now again, the nerd cred is increasing even more here. You got my boy here. This is my boy, Ultra 7 now.
How'd you find that?
the interwebs.
Oh my gosh.
Ultra 7, man. That's my
Ultra
guy
7
right
is
now.
my guy.
Yes.
It's
7.
It's weird because I had watched Ultraman previous, but there was something about the design sensibility of the costume and the fact that long before Pokemon, he had these capsule monsters.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And when the chips were down, he'd take the thing out and go, chang, and boom, a monster would rise up to defend him.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is true. What is your thoughts about the kind of in a way, kind of a reboot, but just kind of doing its own thing with the lore, the show on Netflix?
Interesting. Well, I have to love it because it exposed Ultraman to millions and millions of people worldwide.
Yeah.
Subaraya Productions, who I work with, they're my partners, do not consider anime Ultraman to be a part of the canonical live-action Ultraman universe.
Okay.
It's its own thing.
That's fine.
And yet you can't argue with Production IG. The producers, fantastic guys, and the story's fantastic. I've seen the second season. It's awesome.
Oh, it comes out in April, doesn't it? Is
That's
it
right.
April?
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I
Oh,
enjoyed it for
fantastic. Yeah.
sure. But you have to accept, if you have to accept it that okay, if
Right.
they're doing their own thing,
Its own
if
thing.
you're okay with them doing their own thing, if you're okay with that, most likely as an Ultraman fan, you'll enjoy it.
Right, right. Whereas the Marvel comics, which I'm working on with Tom Brevoort at Marvel, that is a part of the canonical Ultraman universe. It's its own dimension and so forth, but
Okay.
it's a part of the continuum.
Gotcha.
And
Copy that.
it's a fantastic story, a great way to introduce people to Ultraman. The now it's in trade paperback.
And oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And Seven looks even more badass.
He sure does.
And they gave him a sword too. I'm like, really? You're just making my boy even cooler. Okay. But yeah, when I was a little samurai growing up, I remember, I was so young I couldn't figure out when shows came on and whatnot. And I remember once in a while coming across an Ultraman episode, and it was like the greatest thing ever, especially when I'm young,
That's right.
But I didn't really get a chance to see the first season until they released it on DVD. I think it was like in the early 2000s, maybe.
Sure.
And
That's when I bought
I
mine
forgot. I
first.
don't know what company it was, but they released Iron King and Red Baron and all like just the first part of Ultraman. And I bought that and watched that, and I enjoyed that.
Hmm.
But it wasn't until recently where I'm trying hard to catch up to you, Jeff. I'm trying to catch up, but as you can see here,
Oh, there you go.
I'm just trying. I've been buying all the Mill Creek releases, man. I've been trying to catch up.
It's super nice.
Yeah.
And by the way, for the purposes of the audience, um, uh, they the Subaru Productions chose me to help them introduce Ultraman to the greater audience in North America and around the world. And so I've been working really hard with Iceberg Theory and UltramanConnection.com. Oh my gosh. How do you get these pictures?
I got you, man. I
I
got you.
didn't even know that
It's
this was around. That's the licensing show.
it's
And
called
that's
I'm being professional.
so this is us, introducing Ultraman to global popular culture, and we have made tremendous progress. So if you have Tokusatsu fans in general, or people who have any kind of affinity for Ultraman, they should come to UltramanConnection.com and register. When you register, you get access to entire series. We have Ultraman Trigger already on with commercial free. We're going to have Ultraman Zet
Okay.
is the whole series commercial free on UltramanConnection.com. And then when you become, there's a little bump where you pay a little something, and then you get access to all kinds of super exclusive content as well.
Copy that. Copy that. So your company right now is helping bring the awesomeness of Ultraman even more so to the mainstream.
Well, of course, and we're making great progress
Now,
doing.
is there a new show coming?
Well, Netflix recently announced an Ultraman animated feature, which
Okay.
is being animated by Lucasfilm. So it's awesome. Those are the same people who animate the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch and
Wow.
a lot of that Lucasfilm animation stuff. They're doing Ultraman, and it is breathtaking.
Oh man, I'm excited.
And that's classic, the classic looking Ultraman.
These badasses. Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that's just the start from
And
Netflix as far as the franchise is concerned.
do we have a release date yet or not yet?
It's going to be another year or two.
Okay.
Production is just underway, so it's going to be a little while.
Okay.
But it's like they're taking it super seriously, man. It's just like it's expensive. It's like a theatrical feature. So
Lucas.
it's
Wow.
going to be great. Yeah,
That's crazy. I'm excited. I'm excited.
A lot of
and it's just for Netflix.
A lot of different animation companies competed to do it.
Oh, I'm sure.
So that's how strongly Lucasfilm was interested in doing it. They won, man.
Oh man, that is awesome. I'm excited. I'm sure everybody watching right now and listening is excited as well. Jeff Gomez is a legend from Brock Lesnar. Don't mess with Brock, you'll get F5'd. But Jake Hall says here, is there any other Ultraman that you like?
That I like, or that is happening? There's a lot of Ultraman happening. There's a new series that's going to come out in June or July, brand new, from Tsuburaya in Japan. There is a
live action.
We're going to run a movie. That's live action.
Okay.
We're going to have exclusively the worldwide debut of Ultraman Trigger Episode Z. The Ultraman Trigger feature film is coming up in Ultraman Connection in March.
Okay.
I think this is the first time anywhere anybody's saying anything about it. So you got
exclusive.
And as far as the Ultra characters that I love Ultraman Z, the more recent one. I love Ultraman Zero, who has the strange kind of helmet array. The voice actor for Ultraman Zero is a good friend, and I'm a Showa kind of guy. So those originals, Taro and those guys, Ace.
Oh yeah,
those are my guys.
So back to the Ultra Slap. A while back when we were reviewing Ultraman Ace, I think it was. We were having fun because when the older brothers came up, they had to put Ace in line, and original Ultraman just bitch slapped him. He's like, "Look, listen to me." So that's forever known as the Ultra Slap.
They were different times, my friend. They were different times.
It was good times. It was fun times. Okay, so man, wow, you just blew my mind with all this new information. So we got animated show from LucasArts coming to Netflix, brand new show, live action, son. That's right. Coming in Japan, a new movie coming. Man, and who knows what else? Sky's the limit. Is there anything else?
Shin Ultraman. Shin Ultraman is there you go. Wow.
Thank you.
That one ready. That is super, super awesome. I'm so looking forward to the movie. They've had a little extra time to fine tune the special effects. It's coming out in Japan theatrically in May. It's coming to the United States a little later in the year.
Okay. Now, and it's from the same creators of Shin Godzilla.
That's correct. Correct. So there's a seriousness to it, as you know. We love our serious.
Oh yeah,
a kind of more realistic take in terms of the human response around Ultraman.
Okay,
but still, there's a great affection and nostalgia for the original series that is reflected in the film.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, a while back when this kind of like fan film trailer came out, fans were already really excited about it.
Yeah.
But now it's not just a fan trailer, it's a real deal coming out. So
deal. Exactly.
Everyone's, I mean, I know you have to keep it on the hush. As of right now, of course, when we get closer to the release of Shin, brother, come on back to the show, of course, and we can talk about it, help promote it. At least, can you tell us, is there going to be a decent amount of monster battles in this, or you can't even tell us that right now?
It's if you look at the trailer, there are, it hints at 3. Kaiju, and there may be more than that.
Oh, look at that, guys! Woohoo! Oh man, I'm excited. Because we love the kaiju fights. We love the fights. Let's go. So, yes, you have blown my mind and everybody watching's mind right now, if you're Ultraman fans, of course. All this awesome content coming out. And where can they go again, Jeff, to find out more information?
First of all, I want everyone watching or listening to this to jump on my social media. That's at Jeff_Gomez on Twitter, Jeff Gomez on Facebook. And if you're in the business, you can reach me through LinkedIn. I love to interact and talk with the fans. And come to ultramanconnection.com and register. Check it out, register, and you'll get some emails every once in a while, not too many, updating you on everything that's going on with Ultraman Connection, when the new shows are coming out, when the new events are being live streamed, and when that Netflix feature is coming.
Awesome. Amazing. Before we wrap it up, Jeff, is there anything else you'd like to say to future young generation of writers and creators?
Yeah, guys, I am not a rocket science guy. I'm not a genius. I just wanted to live, in such a way that my desires could be fulfilled, that I could realize some dreams. And none of it was easy. At every step of the way, there was someone standing there to tell me, no, it can't happen. You're dreaming. You want the impossible. And my response to that was to summon my courage and to actually figure out how this thing worked. Just how does it work? If you understand how it works, you can navigate it. Then you just have to be nice and listen to people, and assert your will, assert your creativity, and you can move forward. And most of all, I accomplished this by finishing things, by doing the work and completing it, even if it wasn't perfect. I look back at Hot Wheels and go, oh, that's not so perfect. But it's charming and beautiful and contains a communication from my heart to children who love those cars. That's what it takes. So do that and stick with me. So together we can have some fun. That's it.
Well said. Well said. And we will do that. That's right. Movie Dojo Army's got your back. We're going to join in on the awesomeness. That's right.
Fantastic.
Support Mr. Gomez. That's right. And I'm excited. Thank you so much again. It was an honor to have you here talking about some tokusatsu news, some Ultraman news. And I'm excited. Everybody else is excited you got here.
The Samurai does his homework.
Thank you.
Wow.
Hey, I got the nerd cred. I got to get up to your standards. But you got Brock Lesnar saying, hell yeah, badass. Jake saying, Jeff, you rock.
Jake.
That's right. And thanks again, Jeff. Jeff, don't go anywhere. All right, all you badasses. Thanks again for watching. Keep doing your thing. Keep being creative. That's right. The magic of being creative. Don't let nobody get you down. That's right. Write them scripts. Grab that cell phone. Make a movie, baby.
Unstoppable.
That's right. You are unstoppable. All right. Keep watching the movies and enjoying life. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.